Today, I'll be installing this Bontrager Duotrap S Wheel and Cadence sensor on my Trek bicycle. So here, before I get started, I'll go ahead and show you the parts. Here is the sensor itself with the rubber gasket. Here's another rubber gasket that's going to go between these two. You have 3 different size wheel cadence sensors and a wheel speed sensor. It does come with a new battery and a single screw to install it. The first thing we need to do is to remove this rubber gasket sleeve from the sensor. So you're just going to pull it off quickly, and then on the underside here is the access cover for the battery. Take the battery, put it in the slot, and twist it, and then it should come right out. Okay, and then we will install the battery with the positive side facing up, and then we'll put the cover back on. Okay, now the battery is installed. The next thing we want to do is take this little rubber gasket and we're going to slide it on, and that gasket will eventually sit inside of this other gasket. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove my rear wheel, and we will get this installed. I have removed my rear wheel and I now have access to the installation port. We can see here that this is on the inside of the frame close to the wheel. If you work slowly, you should be able to install this without taking the wheel off, but it takes less than a minute to take the wheel off, and it will make this job a lot easier with the wheel out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a plastic pry tool and pop this cover off. With the cover out of the way, we're ready to install the sensor. This rubber gasket that came pre-installed on the sensor is not going to be used on this bike because it's an alloy bike. This rubber gasket is only used for the carbon bikes. So in my case, I don't need it. I will be installing the sensor with only this rubber gasket. I just need to slide the sensor in, push it in place, and then I'm going to take the hex screw. This is a 2.5 millimeter hex, and I'm going to get it started into the screw hole. The instructions say to torque this screw to 2.5 nanometers. My torque wrench will go that low. I don't have a socket that is 2.5 millimeters. So I'm going to go ahead and do this by hand and just tighten it until it stops, and then give it maybe a quarter turn. Okay, so there it has stopped. Just go ahead and give that a little bit more of a turn, and now the sensor is installed and in place. In order to remove the pedal, I'm going to be using a 6 millimeter hex socket. So now that the pedal is removed, I'm going to go ahead and grab my mid-size sensor that came with my kit. This is the medium-size magnet that came with the kit. I'm going to be installing it so that the B faces inwards towards the wheel and the sensor. Now I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the pedal. Now that the bolt has stopped, I'm going to go ahead and grab my torque wrench and torque this bolt down to 30 foot-pounds or approximately 38 newton meters. With the pedal and the sensor now installed, I'm going to go ahead and put my rear wheel back on, and then we will get the final wheel speed magnet installed. The final step is to install the wheel speed magnet. This is the magnet. You just need to unscrew this, and then we're going to put this indention on a spoke. And we want to align it with, we want to make sure that we align the magnet with the dot that is marked wheel speed on the sensor. I have attached the magnet to a spoke and tightened this down, pretty snug. And now I should be able to spin and see the sensor light come on. And I can. I'm going to go ahead and spin the magnet past the sensor so that you can see the LED light come on. So hopefully you can see that LED light flashing. I've connected the app to my phone, and now I'm going to go ahead and give it a test. So we can see that the wheel speed sensor is working, but the cadence sensor is not being picked up through the frame of the bike. I'm not sure if this is just a design flaw or if this really doesn't work very well with the aluminum frames. I have tried all 3 cadence sensor bands and they all produce the same results of 0 cadence. If I take the unit out of the frame and swipe the band in front of the unit directly, the LED light will flash and it recognizes that the magnet is passing through. But once it's installed in the frame, the magnet is not working for cadence. That is how you install and test a Bontrager Duotrap S on a truck frame. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.